The date is the 27th of May, 1942. One of the most feared men in Europe, Reinhard Heydrich, follows his usual route from his home to his headquarters at Prague Castle, using an open Mercedes. What he doesn't know is that an assassination attempt against him is about to unfold. But who was this man, and why did the Allies want him dead at any cost? Reinhard Heydrich became a member of the Nazi Party, and his deep hatred for Jews quickly propelled him through the ranks. He was considered extremely ambitious and a cold, calculating individual without mercy, earning him the nickname the Blonde Beast. He decided to create the Einsatzgruppen, which were mobile killing units, which systematically exterminated Polish politicians, prominent figures of the aristocracy, science, clergy, and various professional groups. In June 1941, when Germany invaded Russia, Heydrich subdivided his Einsatzgruppen into 4 subgroups, A, B, C, and D, with the clear directive: measures such as the search for and execution of opposing elements must be implemented to contribute to the political pacification of the occupied territories. In simple terms, all Soviet army commissars and Communist Party officials who were captured were to be executed. On July 31st, 1941, following an order from Hitler, Goering instructed Heydrich to prepare a general plan for the final solution to the Jewish question. Heydrich convened the Wannsee Conference on January 20th, 1942, which is considered the beginning of the Holocaust. Heydrich's measures and plans impressed Hitler, who in September 1941 rewarded him by appointing him Reich Protector of Bohemia and Moravia, modern-day Czech Republic. Heydrich settled in Prague, and almost immediately upon his arrival, established the first ghetto. Czechoslovakia began to live under constant terror as he unleashed a ruthless crackdown on the Czech resistance. During his rule there, Heydrich earned the nickname the Butcher of Prague. However, Czech resistance fighters were not willing to allow him to completely dismantle them and organised their response with the help of the British. Heydrich had reached the peak of his arrogance and enjoyed travelling in an open Mercedes from Prague to his hometown without armed escort, believing that the population supported him due to his policies and that the resistance had been crushed by the Gestapo. However, the Allies had different plans. Czech soldiers trained by the British intelligence airlifted from Great Britain to Czechoslovakia, along with 7 other Czech soldiers in December of 1941. After scratching plans to kill Heydrich on a train and in his car in a forest, the plan was to attack him at a sharp turn in a district of Prague on his way from his home to the Prague Castle.
Boys, let's get the job done.
On the 27th of May 1942, foot and vehicular traffic lightened as the rush hour elapsed. Chances of detection increased exponentially. Where was Heydrich? Finally, at about 10:30, the Mercedes appeared around a curve up the road. Moments later, the car's transmission noise changed to a loud whine as Klein downshifted the gears. The car was barely moving as it reached the assassins. Gabčík and Kubis were positioned at the tram stop near Bulovka Hospital, where there was a bend in the road, while their colleague Josef Valsik signalled with a mirror the arrival of Heydrich's open-roofed Mercedes-Benz. Gabčík jumped in front of the vehicle, but his Sten gun jammed. Heydrich had his car stopped and stood up. He tried to shoot Gabčík by drawing his pistol from its holster. When Kubis saw that his colleague's Sten gun had jammed, he had to act quickly. Inside his briefcase, he carried a grenade and decided to throw it at the car. He removed the grenade, pulled the pin, and hurled it toward Heydrich. The grenade rolled under the Mercedes, followed by a loud explosion. Although the bomb only hit the rear of the car, Heydrich was severely injured. Though injured, Heydrich tried to chase Gabčík but soon collapsed. Following Heydrich's orders, driver Klein then set after Kubis. Klein raced after Kubis, but his pistol jammed and the resistance fighter got away. At this point, everyone thought that the operation had failed to kill Heydrich. Heydrich was taken to the nearby Bulovka Hospital, where he was treated for injuries to his spleen. Fragments from the bomb, along with pieces of the car and his uniform, lodged in his body and led to sepsis. Heinrich Himmler visited him at the hospital and promised tough reprisals for the attack. Even though his condition initially seemed to improve, he died on June 4th, 1942.
Achtung, Achtung! Zur Aufklärung des Attentats auf den stellvertretenden Reichsprotektor SS
The assassination triggered the greatest manhunt in the history of the Third Reich. The German-run state TV began broadcasting the items left behind by the assassins. The Gestapo knew they were on the hunt for parachutists due to an unused bomb with British parts and a British submachine gun abandoned at the scene. The Nazis offered a reward of 1 million marks for the arrest. Martial law was proclaimed, and everyone over the age of 15 had to register with the police by May 30th, or they would be shot. During the broadcast, they showed the bicycle used by Kubis and the hat that fell off Walczak. The gun that jammed and was dropped by Gabčík was also displayed. They appealed to anyone with information that could lead the Gestapo to the arrest of the assassins. After taking refuge with 2 Prague families, the assassins, along with 5 other paratroopers, hid in the Greek Orthodox Church in Prague. On June 13th, while continuing to press their search and promising new reprisals, the Nazis tried a new approach. They announced that anyone who helped catch the assassins by June 18th would receive amnesty. This provided the break they needed. One bit of information led to another until the Gestapo knew enough to raid several houses and arrest key members of the underground. One of them, under torture, provided the name of the parachutists' hiding place. On June 18th, hundreds of Waffen-SS troops disembarked to form a double cordon around the church of St. Cyril and Methodius. 3 resistance fighters, including Kubis, were killed in the prayer loft after a 2-hour battle, despite the Czechs being armed only with pistols. The Nazis realized that more resistance fighters were hiding in the basement and attempted to flood the catacombs. Finally, after holding out for 6 hours, the 4 parachutists, including Gabčík, committed suicide. The Germans unleashed a severe retaliation. Hitler wanted to kill 10,000 Czech political prisoners, but high-ranking people like Himmler convinced him that they needed the Czechs in order to keep the area industrially productive. Still, more than 13,000 were arrested and 5,000 were murdered in reprisals. After the Allies would win the war, the region was to be returned to Czechoslovakia. The only targeted killing of a high-ranking SS officer, the assassination of Heydrich, proved to be an isolated event, but also proved to be one of the highlights of resistance throughout Nazi-occupied Europe. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. If you liked it, please consider subscribing and sharing it with others. See you in the next one.